Conversations with Greg J is on. How are you today? Wow, we're here. We're doing the global thing because you know what we do, build bridges of music, arts, and culture between Africa and America and all over the diaspora. If you happen to pick up this broadcast today, we are reaching out all the way to Cape Coast, Ghana, Accra, Ghana, West Africa. We're celebrating the Pan-African Heritage Museum in Cape Coast, Ghana. It's planned. That beautiful portrait that you saw as we were coming on the air is the rendering of what this beautiful edifice will be. And we know that in March, we're going to have a gala dinner over there in Accra, Ghana. And there's going to be an opportunity for y'all to donate toward the cause of building this beautiful, beautiful facility. So we wanted you to know about this here on this side of the diaspora. It's important news, an important initiative towards Pan-African thought, Pan-African consciousness. Former member of parliament over there in Ghana, great Pan-Africanist, historian, and all-around good guy. He's been here before sipping coffee with us, and hey, he's here to tell us all about the Pan-African Heritage Museum. Kojo Yankah. Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Greg, and I'm happy to be here at your coffee table.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much for coming. You know, I've been seeing so many things across, on the internet, across social media that the Pan-African Heritage Museum is coming and you're hard at work in the middle of a capital campaign to get the edifice built. I've been a part of capital campaigns for major edifices here in Los Angeles, in the Los Angeles area, and it is a big job. Tell us a little bit about the Pan-African Heritage Museum.
Yes, indeed. This is a museum that is already online in its digital form on our website. We started working actively on it since 2020, and we got our digital version built already on the address that you have put on your screen. And we have been working very hard. We have an executive committee, we have an international board, we have teams in various countries on the continent and in the diaspora. And everybody is working towards raising funds for the construction of the main physical museum, not inside Cape Coast itself, but on the Accra to Cape Coast Road at Winneba Junction. And this is where the major museum complex is going to be. And so I'm delighted to be on your show to say a few words about it.
Nice. We have really, really been talking a lot about telling our own stories, and it's just very important that we tell our history from our perspective. So long we've been letting others, tell our stories, and oftentimes they don't get it right or they omit certain pieces of it. This work is very, very important, and this is why I felt like it was really important to amplify what you are doing here on our show, and hopefully you'll connect with others across America so that as many people can find out what this whole thing is all about. You said it's on the pahmuseum.org. You guys can see that on the scroll right there. You can also make donations after you hear what's going on here and you like what you hear, go ahead and support that effort over there. I wanted to ask you, Kojo, okay, I've been studying, Ghana. I've been there a couple of times, but I've been studying. Now, I saw a properties, if you will, near what they were saying was going to be the Pan-African Heritage Museum, and it was connected to the Asebu Kingdom. So I'm curious, is this the same region where this is? Are you connected with that whole effort there?
Yes, we are in the same region, the central region of Ghana. We are on the coast, and we are only about 3 kilometers from the top of the hill where we are to the beach. So we are virtually on the coast. And let me tell you, I chose that site because of the imposing nature of what we want to do. We are building a Pan-African heritage city on top of this hill. We have enough space covering 75 acres of land. And we are using 15 acres for the museum complex. My university, the African University College of Communications, is also going to come up there to occupy another 25 acres. And then we are doing an arboretum. We are planting trees for the future. But as part of the museum complex itself, we are going to have a 4-story gallery, galleries going up four stories to tell about the origin of civilization, the origin of human beings from Africa, the origin of African history through the invasions and all that Africa has gone through, slavery, colonialism, the resistance movement, what our ancestors contributed to civilization, up to the point where we can say this is contemporary Africa on the continent and also in the diaspora. So all these experiences are going to be captured on the hill as part of the museum complex. So if you make a contribution to the museum, it's a building. Let me tell you even more fascinating things about the complex. Apart from the building that is going to contain all these artifacts and collections, we have a number of components that, Greg, you would love to be part of and stay on. One is the herbal plant farm. We have a 2-acre space where we are planting herbal plants from all over Africa and the diaspora. We have plants coming from the Bahamas, from South Africa, from Colombia, all as part of the heritage of the Black African. So all these are coming together perfectly on the herbal plant farm, where we intend to plant close to 10,000 species of herbal plants, which will be labeled, which will be taught, and link the nature. Linking nature to African experience is a normal thing. So we have that farm as part of the complex. We will have another site called the Palace of African Kingdoms, all the ancient kingdoms that Africa has had. We cannot put everything there, but we put about 25 of the ancient kingdoms of Africa, specimens of all these kingdoms, and then we will also have another 25 of modern kingdoms of Africa for visitors who come to the space. There are many more exciting things, but what we built, which includes a garden of African heroes and heroines. These are our own heroes from the corners of Africa, through the Americas, through Latin America, through the Caribbean, wherever they are. We're going to put all of them on a park of 2 acres, sculptured for visitors to know their role models. And then, of course, we will have our Pan-African Library and Innovation Center, where we want all our youth to share experiences, to know each other, and then to tell our own story. There's so much that, Greg, we can say on this project that will make you want to come back to Ghana next week.
Yes, sir.
We'll do a full presentation at the gala dinner on 6th of March. But this is a very big and important transformational project that is going to bridge the gap amongst all people of Africa and descendants of Africa.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you a question now. I think it's really fascinating, and important, essential even to, build such a facility. And I've been seeing in the news and on social media that recently, as Ghanaians have been reaching back to the museums up there in Great Britain, give us our artifacts back. And I saw that the museum there, I guess the Royal Museum, said, okay, we'll loan it to you, and then the dialogue among the communities went like, wait, how could you loan us something that was ours originally, How do you feel about that when the Royal Museum and the museums of Europe who have, gotten these artifacts from Africa and placed them in their museums in Europe, and now they want to loan it to us to show in our museums? What's your thought?
Greg, I mean, this dialogue is long overdue. It's really, for me, not even a question of we are loaning you your artifacts. Now, these were artifacts that were looted during the colonial period. They were stolen, in all the interactions with the Ashantis and the Ashanti Empire. So I think that the decent thing to do at this time when Ashanti or the Royal House has their own museum, to just say, here you are, we are returning your artifacts. Mm-hmm. But you don't come to say, okay, we are loaning them to you at a particular time, we will take them back or something. Well, I'm not very comfortable with it. So are many other people from Ghana and other parts of Africa. Mm-hmm. It is time for all the looted artifacts from the continent to be returned to the continent. There was an article that was also claiming that, Africans don't have a place to keep the artifacts when we send them. But again, that's our own business. Kumasi, Ashanti, where the current artifacts are going, has had the King's Museum for several years. They could have returned them 100 years ago if they wanted to. But now the international demand for the return of stolen artifacts is so high that most of these are being compelled to say, bring them back. Of course, we are demanding them. Somebody is saying, okay, there are rules in Europe that, particularly in England, that forbid the return of artifacts willingly back to the countries in Africa. We do not think that this is fair enough. We do not think that this is even a subject for dialogue. Now, these artifacts have been in European museums for several years. And Greg, you know what people pay to enter a museum. So these museums they have made so much money out of these artifacts from Africa. So when the time comes for you to return them, I think you even need to pay double because they don't belong to you. As simple as that. They belong to Africa. Send them back. But you don't say, I think it's an attitude. We don't say we are loaning them to you. When we want them back, we probably will ask them for them. No. So our attitude here in Ghana and in other parts of Africa is that, listen, don't let us talk about loaning. Let's talk about returning them because that's where they belong.
Yeah, sure.
Now, of course, we are building the Pan-African Heritage Museum. That's going to be big. That's going to have space for all the looted items, stolen items, that were taken out of the continent. And we are getting ready to request for some of them already.
Now, when you're curating everything, you're going all around the whole continent? Like, how do you navigate that with so many different nations in the, I know there's 54 nations, but there's hundreds of nations and kingdoms and, peoples that have history, on the continent. How do you navigate that? How do you research what the stories that you want to tell? What is that like?
Oh, we have, with the Pan-African Heritage Museum,
yes,
we have a 36-member academic council. If you go to our website, you'll find them. Historians, anthropologists, archaeologists, who have written books, researched. So all the material, we know where they are. So we are going to get them to request those museums where they are to return them. But apart from that, the countries where we are dealing with all over on the continent are virtually all part of this museum, because we have teams in almost every country. And therefore, they are also agitating in their own countries, not necessarily for return. We are saying we are building this museum. We want an exhibition of, say, Swaziland. It's very easy. On the continent, it's very easy. Those that are outside of the continent, in Europe particularly, there is a movement at the moment for items that have been taken out of the continent to be returned. And in most of the countries are returning them. We have examples of what the Dutch did to another kingdom in the western region of Ghana. They beheaded the king, took his head back to the Netherlands for whatever reason, kept it in a museum all these years, and only recently have agreed to return the head. Now, they've returned the head. The family is saying, where is the rest of the body? So a whole lot of discussions are going on, which are also revealing the kind of relationship that we had with all these European countries. It's not all that was good, smooth, and perfect, but there were very violent and savage parts which become part of our history.
Okay, now I've heard many times, and every time I hear these stories, I just go, wow, this is pretty barbaric. So just wait, just let me process this there, Brother Kojo. So wait a minute. So the Dutch came into the region, cut off the king's head, took it back to the Netherlands, and had it on display in some museum somewhere.
That's correct. Mm-hmm. And you see, when the story of slavery is told, sometimes it's told as if our chiefs just allowed them to do anything they wanted on the continent. It's not true. Chiefs resisted, and those resisted suffered, like this particular king I'm talking about in the western region of Ghana, like the king, even the king of Ashanti, who was exiled to the Seychelles Islands because he resisted occupation by the British. So many stories. And I'm saying that it is time now for us to tell our story, because we are now going to write the story, right? Because all the history books did not say everything. They did not even, the incident I'm telling you about, we did not find it in our history books.
In history books, sure.
If you go to look at the Congo, the way they also cut the Prime Minister Lumumba, his body, they cut it up into pieces. And even his tooth was taken out and taken to a museum in Belgium. It's only recently that this was taken back. I mean, wait a minute. What kind of people were we dealing with?
Yeah, and I want to point out the American CIA had something to do with that assassination for sure.
Oh, of course.
That's documented.
Many more.
Yes.
Many more. Many more. So, so what we are doing, the movement that we have initiated is going to now encourage a lot more people to demand what is the real story. And of course, historians to rewrite the stories. Because, Greg, let me tell you something. I'm sure you go to Cape Coast, the slave dungeons, and they tell you there's a door of no return.
Yes.
You go to Senegal, there's another door of no return.
Yes.
Now, I have studied this carefully, and I've come to the conclusion that they really meant that there should be no return. So what happened? So our kith and kin were taken out of their homes on the continent, shipped out through that door, and then they forbade the government from teaching anything about those that have left, right? So in our history books, there's no teaching of African American history. So most people on the continent do not know the suffering, the struggles, the rebellions that our people went through when they went to the other side, right? Equally, those that went on the other side were denied any history of the people of Africa. So we know that, the education in America did not include education on Africa. So total ignorance. So it's like, don't return, nothing about you. Now we are saying in our story that let's bridge that gap. Let's open that door. Already, people of African descent are coming back to the continent, but still, they have a whole lot to learn. That is where the importance of this Pan-African Heritage Museum comes in. So we're going to make it easier for people on this side of the continent to know more, to learn more. We'll read a lot more books by African-American writers or Brazilian writers, Afro-Brazilian, Afro-Colombian, Afro-Caribbean. You can get their books to read, know about them. There will be a pack of heroes and heroines that will show you the heroes that we have had in our history, which we have not known before. So we have no doubt about the impact. It's a lot of work, but we have started already. And we will continue with the physical museum. As far as I'm concerned, it's going to be the site of pilgrimage for people to know where to go for spiritual resuscitation, more or less, to understand each other.
It's interesting about these stories. I mean, prior to me coming to Ghana, my first trip was 2022. Then I was there. 2021. Then I was there. I was there in 2022 and stayed a whole month and a half so I could just be, in Ghana and live normally in society. I just wanted to feel it, But being a knowledge seeker that I am and an arts advocate, I was really taken aback by all of the artifacts that I did see, all of of course, the fabrics and everything. I got a bunch of fabrics and brought them back. And one of my other businesses is I import coffee from Cameroon. And my coffee stand has a lot of the fabrics that I got from Ghana. But one of the stories that fascinates me there, Kojo, and I'm just going to ask this question, and forgive me if I'm out of order, but where's the golden stool?
The golden stool is there in Kumasi right
It is.
now. It's
So if I
there,
go
right?
there, I can see it?
Beg your pardon?
If I go there, I can see it?
No, it's not. Okay, this year it's going to come out. Why is it going to come out? It's going to come out because the king, as I'm speaking, as we are talking now, there is a symposium and activities marking, I think, the 114th or 115th anniversary of the last war with the British. Now, the ceremony will continue. There will be a lot of events leading up to the 25th anniversary of the coming onto the the crowning of the king. On that day, that's around May 5th, May 6th, the golden stool will be out.
Of this year?
This year.
Oh man, I wish I'd have known that because I'm planning on coming in November, but I would love to because it's a lot of festival celebration time.
Yeah, that's celebration time. So it's there. It's not. It's kept. It's very well kept because you know that was what the British wanted.
Yes.
And all their wars with the Ashantis because that was where their power was. And the Ashantis resisted and gave them a fake golden stool. And they took that back thinking that was the golden stool. Upon which they decided to release the king from the Seychelles Island to bring him back. When they brought him back and they put him back in the palace, they brought back the golden stool. So they hid it from the British. I mean, again, if our people were that shallow-minded and they didn't know anything, would they be wise enough to protect their golden stool that they had, they cherished so much? So it's there. It's under strict security, and it comes out periodically when the king has a major celebration.
Now, who is the king of the Ashantis?
Yeah, he's currently called Osei Tutu.
Osei
Tutu is the king of. He was put on the crown 25 years ago when I happened to be the minister of the region, Ashanti region.
Nice.
So, yes, I played a role in putting him on the stool and crowning him. So I'm supposed to be in Kumasi for the celebrations. It's a long one. I'll show up along the line.
That's right. Yeah, I haven't made it to Kumasi yet. I'm going to when I come back because I have a goal. I know that's where the gold is. So I want to purchase some gold and make a ring. Get my little Kumasi gold, my Ashanti gold, and and a few other little things that I want to do over there in Kumasi. I love the Cape Coast region. I really want to look over there because. You just be honest with you, considering some land over there. I want to just try to see, what can be done. You mentioned Swaziland. Now, prior to me coming to, Ghana in the years that I indicated earlier, since 2010, I had been going to South Africa. So I've been to South Africa, Botswana, Swaziland, which is now Eswatini, Zambia. This was just my entree to the continent, and I've been bringing tour groups over there. The one year that when I went to Swaziland, I'll tell you the story. So I have a friend of mine who is in the Zulu kingdom, and he is, Dr. Goba does a the South African Traditional Music Award. So it's basically like the Grammy Awards here in Hollywood, but it's for the traditional music of South Africa. So he invites me over there, and it's fabulous. Oh my God, I'm having a great time. And I meet these people from that worked in the King's administration, and I had never met, let alone black folks, but I had never met anybody that worked, in the king, for a king, and we became great friends. And we were planning to do a African music festival here in Los Angeles. And so we were seeking support from kingdoms and all of that, because we really wanted to make a really awesome traditional experience here in LA, for the people, for the community. And so after the award show, I rented a car and a driver, and we drove around. I just hired the driver just so I wouldn't get lost. I just wanted that adventure. And so when we went into the Kingdom of Swaziland, shout out to you, Z Shabango. Thank you so much for that time. Is one of the greatest adventures of my life. We were driving all over Swaziland and everything. And we were guests there, and we went to the National Museum. And so the customs there are very much, your wealth is derived by how many cattle you have, right? So you're out there. I went to the chief, one of the chiefs had a big meeting, and I sat in the chair of honor next to him, and he has his, what they call a kraal, and where all his cattle was in there, Now, what historical artifacts are of real significance that belong in the Pan-African Heritage Museum that may originate from the Kingdom of Swaziland?
Let me put it this way. They'll be in two types. Now, first, we want to tell our story as a people of Africa before the 1884 Berlin Conference that divided us. It's important for us to understand that we were together. We were divided by the European powers in Germany in 1884-85. Now, but secondly, each of the communities had their own style of living. They had their kingdoms, they had their community way of living, they had their social systems. These are some of the practices we want to show in the museum. So we will have the ancient, the ancient museum, ancient history, cultures of the people of Swaziland. And then in the exhibition where Swaziland is, you're going to have contemporary Swaziland that will then show you what is in Swaziland now. Right. So you will see two types of Swaziland, the ancient traditions and then the modern traditions. Again, but if you also go to the exhibition on, say, Brazil, you will see the life of the Afro-Brazilians then and now, which are totally different. So that's how people are going to see. People should know their history. What happened to us when we were, or our ancestors were taken to Brazil or Jamaica or America. We will let people of Africa know what people, the resistance from the south of, from Virginia, way down up, the Civil War in America, all the struggles, emancipation, civil rights movements. Hey, nobody's taught those things in Africa. We will get the story here.
All right, now I know that your ambassador is the great Yvonne Shaka Shaka, And for those of us in America who don't know, she is an absolute superstar on the continent. She's, man, Shaka Khan or Diana Ross, I mean, at these levels of legendary music status. I had the honor of meeting her in South Africa. We were about to be interviewed on Radio 2000 at the state broadcaster South African Broadcasting Corporation. And I sent you the picture of us together, didn't I? Yes.
It did.
So, what went into the choice of Yvonne Shaka Shaka? And after you explain who she is and her importance to your project, I want to play the video that she has for you.
Oh, she is a marvelous songstress. She was popularly known as the Queen of Africa at the height of her music career. Astonishing. During the apartheid movement, she was singing fabulously and was making Africa proud outside the continent with her songs. She sang mostly for the unity of Africa, the beauty of Africa, and she has always preached unity on the continent and love for all peoples. So when we asked her to be our music ambassador, she did not hesitate at all. She said, readily, I would be. And she's coming on the 6th of March, and everybody's excited, waiting to hear her sing again. Yes, I met her in South Africa last year. I told her about this show, and she's kept her word.
Nice. Well, let's take a look, y'all. Yvonne Shaka Shaka.
My name is Yvonne Shaka Shaka, and I'm so proud to be Goodwill Ambassador of the Pan-African Heritage World Museum. To learn from the
Well, getting a little stickiness there. I guess my internet on my end. I don't know. What we're going to do is I'll play that and I'll put it in on our website, Beach City Radio, beachcityradio.com. I'll try to play it at the end also, too. I want you all really to see Yvonne Shaka Shaka and what she has to say. Sorry about that. I got one more video, too, that I want to play before we adjourn for the day, but we'll give it a shot and see what happens. Let me ask you, so the significance of March 6th, that is the Ghanaian Independence Day, and I think that's a really great time to do your event. And tell us a little bit about why you chose that date and where the gala is going to be on March 6th.
Yes, definitely. March 6th is Ghana's Independence Day. With Kwame Nkrumah as the leader, and Ghana's independence led the way for other countries south of the Sahara to also struggle for their independence. So 6th March is important. Kwame Nkrumah is important for Africa. He lit the light for liberation, invited, Pan-Africanists from outside of Africa, like W.B. Du Bois, George Padmore, all to come to Ghana to work with him to help to liberate the rest of Africa. And we have held 6th March so dearly to our hearts. So we decided that in ushering the museum onto the public eye, we will choose that day to raise funds, and we'll continue to do it every year for the museum. And we want people to remember that Kwame Nkrumah led the modern struggle for Pan-Africanism, and we are continuing from where he and others left off. So this will be on 6th of March in one of our most modern 5-star hotels, Kempinski Hotel. And we are expecting the President of the Republic and other high dignitaries on the continent, kings and queens, to be part of it, to help raise funds for the Pan-African Heritage Museum.
Nice. That Kopinski Hotel, that's a nice place. Oh, man, I walked through there. I went to a
Yes.
conference when I was there. I went to a tech conference, and I was really, really impressed with that hotel. Man, that if they say 5-star, that's probably a 6-star.
Yeah, it is. Very high.
Yeah, very good. All right, Ellen, we've got President Nana Addo coming.
Yes, he's coming.
Nice.
He's our first patron. He's coming.
Okay.
The former president of Botswana is also coming.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so now before we go, just so we have an education about what is needed. So if when we go to the website, we make a donation. What's the money? What do we need? What do we need to support?
We have opportunity for those who want to make big donations for naming purposes on our museum. Ranging from $100,000 to $1 million. But otherwise, we also accept all donations to be members. We will take note of all those who are donating, who wants their names on the walls of the museum. When the museum is built, we'll have a roll call of all those who donated, no matter what sum of money, to the museum, so that they will all feel proud that they took part in this great project. So all that will be available.
So you can take any amount, though. You'll accept any amount.
Yes, we will.
Because what I learned in the capital campaign that I was a part of, and we were raising 60 million, and it was the little mamas with their change and a couple bucks. That's what added up. Sure, you had the big donors, a couple of those guys, but it was the juice, the meat of the matter was really just the everyday person that say, hey, $20, $50, $100, that way.
Precisely. We like them all.
All right, very good. All right, y'all, 6th of March, check it out. Look, if you can make it, grab your passport, get on a plane, get out there to Accra, get on Kopinski. But if not, the beauty of technology, pahmuseum.org. You see that in our chat. You see that in the scroll. Make a donation, help support this effort. And I know a lot of you all are that follow us here at Beach City Radio. You know that we do trips to Ghana. And so we're thinking of, coming back in December, personally going over in November and just staying a while, as we try to entrench our minds into the society of Ghana. But, when you guys are making your trips, I've spoken to so many of you saying, hey, I'm going in May, I'm going in July, all of that. Make sure that you pay attention to what's happening with the Pan-African Heritage Museum, make a donation. Support. A good friend of mine was just there, and she said she's going to, turn around and make a donation because she wished I would have told her about it sooner. And my bad, I did not. But certainly spread the word. All of you Pan-Africans, Africanists around the country, universities, intellectuals, all of you all that know that we need to make this circle, have this bridge, support the Pan-African Heritage Museum. This is important work, y'all. And I'm going to play this video as we go out, and hopefully it'll play properly, but this is their promo video. And then, if you miss it here, it'll be all across our social media platforms, so you can get an idea of what this is.
To independence now, tomorrow, the United States of Africa.
Yeah.
It is time for people of African descent to teach, heal, and inspire themselves and the rest of the world with contributions they have made and continue to make to humanity through history, art, culture, and indigenous knowledge. This is possible through the Pan-African Heritage Museum, coming up on the Heritage Hills, Kumasi, near Winneba Roundabout on the Cape Coast Road. To have your name and the name of your family or organization on the walls of the museum, buy a ticket to attend the special Independence Day fundraising dinner happening at the Grand Kempinski Gold Coast Hotel on Wednesday, 6th March at 5 p.m. Enjoy a memorable evening with the high and eminent patrons of the museum from the Pan-African world, as well as performances by Ghana's Machiame Kwame, South Africa's Yvonne Chaka Chaka, and the king of Azonto music, Fuse ODG, and the Ghana Dance Company. Tickets are going for visit www.pahmuseum.org or call Delu on 055 665 4401.
Pages of Africa's history, art, culture, and indigenous knowledge. Join Africa to exhibit and curate her rich herbal plant farms, her historic places of African kingdoms, her beautifully sculptured park of heroes and heroines, Pan-Africa's hidden innovators and inventors, and her literary giants and creatives, all in one 10-acre space of the Pan-African Heritage City in Ghana, Winneba Junction, 45 kilometers west of Accra. There will be hotels there, there'll be chalets, apartments, and other social amenities. So all you do, you just register to be a partner, a lifetime member, or ordinary member. Visit our website on www.pahw.org. Let's together build a new humanity through walls of the Pan-African Heritage World Museum.
Yeah, there it is. Pan-African Heritage Museum, you guys. It's going on out there in Ghana, West Africa. Brother Kojo, any last words you want to say to the people?
Yeah, I would like to say that everybody is welcome. This is a project for all of us, and I would want everybody to be part of it. There'll be space for people to etch their names, their family names, their company names, and also experience the history, because this is a place that we are expecting all generations of the youth to come and visit one day or the other. This is the place to know where we came from and where we are going and why we are where we are. We want to educate ourselves, heal ourselves, and inspire ourselves. You are all welcome.
Nice. Thank you also. Thank you, Brother Kojo. Before we go, look, one of the things is it's Super Bowl weekend in American football this coming up here, and I've been making the contrast with football in Ghana is, it's AFCON time, and so for this occasion, I wore my Black Stars. Okay.
But on Saturday, the finals will be between Nigeria and South Africa.
Ah, yes. Okay, that's the finals then. Okay.
That's right. That's right.
Nice. So it's Saturday. All right, y'all. There you have it. Thank you, Brother Kojo. I know it's late over there. I will let you go, but thank you so much. Let's keep in touch. And whatever I need to do to help you, man, let me know. I'm here. I'm well able, and here ready to rock and roll with you. Okay?
Wonderful. We'll stay connected. And at the appropriate time, I may visit you in Los Angeles. I will continue from there.
Yeah, you got a deal. All right, y'all. You can get this on Coffee Conversations with Greg J, Facebook page, YouTube, Coffee Conversations with Greg J, Beach City Radio, beachcityradio.com, repurposing the audio for our podcast, wherever you want to get your podcast. It is Apple, Google, iHeart, Spotify, Spreaker. just wherever. Just type in Coffee Conversations with Greg J. And remember, love one another. Love one another. Love one another. Peace and blessings.